The following is not meant for children, has been edited by Cute Stuff, and is brought to you by support from Patreon. Hello, and welcome back. I am MaesterAelix, and this is MaesterAelix's Build Love Time, or better known as MaesterAelix's BLT, and my, what a tasty one we have today. The videos in this series are where I go over character builds for some of my favorite RPGs. In this video, I plan to show you, step by step, how to make a character build that I really enjoy and explain why I enjoy it, and hopefully you will too. Now, I like to make fun and flavorful character builds, something that leans more into roleplay with an LE as opposed to two L's. However, it never hurts to give yourself a numerical advantage from time to time, but I'm not going to lean into that. Now, my way is far from the only way to build characters. This is just one character built in a way I think is fun, and hopefully I've done a good enough job that you would want to play this character too. However, feel free to change things to make it a character you do want to play. As I go through this build, I'm going to go into detail into what I've selected and why I've selected the things I do. But what I won't be doing is reading these books to you. First off, that's very boring. Second, doing that removes your need to get these books for yourself. I love these games, so I'd love for you to support these publishers, so go buy their books. Now, we got everything set out, so let's build this BLT.
You two, time to go. Shockwave sent me to send you away. There's reports the Autobots are attacking closer to Chaos, and Seekers are more needed. You're faster. So, you two go. Go on now. You're done here. Me? I'm Phantom. Phantom of Iacon. What's done is done when I say it's done. And there are some things that just aren't done, such as drinking a cube of Energon above a temperature of 38 degrees. It's as bad as listening to Starscream without earmuffs.
Today's BLT is for the Transformers RPG by Renegade Games. This week's art is brought to us by the amazing artist Stefano Romano once again, and I am always impressed by his work. He puts out a piece of work for me every week, and I'm always blown away. If you would like to have a piece done by him, check him out on X at StarDropKick over there, or his webpage, romanostefano.com. The character today is Phantom, the Gentleman Spy. This Basalt mode is usually a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Which number is up for debate. The Autobots spent most of the war on the back foot, so they have need for a bot like Phantom. When the Ark and Nemesis left Cybertron, he moved himself behind enemy lines. The Decepticons had, at the time, nearly gained control of the entire planet, so he was determined to feed intelligence to Elita 1 and her resistance fighters in the battle against the Great Purple Cyclops, Shockwave. Now, let's get into making this BLT, shall we? Before we get too far, I want to warn everyone this character is a big, fun crossover bonanza. The books you're going to need to get from Renegade Games to make the characters I've set them out are the Transformers Core Rulebook, Decepticon Directive, Techno-Organic Secrets, G.I. Joe Furious Fighters, My Little Pony Dark Skies Over Equestria, Power Rangers Beneath the Helmet, and Power Rangers Finster's Monstermatic Cookbook. Now with us back from the store with all those ingredients, let's begin to put this BLT together. Influence. While there are so many options for influences that could help here, there is one in particular that stands out above the rest. But that has a mandatory hang-up. So to get the most bang out of our buck, I want to go grab a second one first. So with that in mind, the first influence is Multifaceted from G.I. Joe Furious Fighters. This influence is great for the eagle-eyed rules lawyers at the table. It lets you switch your faction gear around, which is glorious. The second influence is the one with the hang-up, is Infiltrator, from Power Rangers Finster's Monstermatic Cookbook. This influence is a powerhouse on a bot like Phantom, and really only cements how he is a super spy. Origin. So there's a bunch of general perks I really want for Phantom to have, and sadly I cannot get them all to start. But by choosing Drone Origin from Decepticon Directive, not only can I get one of them, it helps cement his copied other origin as a bot. The Drone Origin gives us a perk, a Hint of Independence, which allows us to grab a general perk we qualify for, and gives us a drone flaw. The general perk I want to grab is Double Agent from Techno-Organic Secrets. This works perfectly with the Infiltrator influence, and is also a prerequisite for a perk I want to take much later. This perk is one you'll always want to keep in mind as it gives you bonuses and your enemies penalties. The flaw I selected for Phantom is Vulnerability. Now, what flavor that comes in is up to you, but for this video I chose Acid. That's because of the copied origin, Changeling from My Little Pony Dark Skies Over Equestria. Now before you throw your phone across the room, let me explain. For those of you who don't know, to keep things brief, changelings are shape changers. So not exactly a stretch for a transformer. But they're closer to a Terminator T-1000 in that they can change into almost anything, which I think is really cool. Ahem. There have been many bots over the ages in the history of Cybertron. Some take after Prima Prime in their female body shapes. Some take after Micronus Prime in their diminutive stature. But some rare ones take after Amalgamus Prime in the supreme flexibility of their transformation cogs. The Changeling Origin gives us a handful of great perks. The first is Impersonate. You can pass yourself off as more easily. For Phantom, I chose the Champion Origin. He is a fine, fast car and pass himself off as other fast cars. The second is Natural Shape. Now, this is a little complicated, but to keep things simple, just know that I selected Metamorphed, which also lets us get some other small bonuses. I selected Long Legs and Hearty to bring this bots mode into alignment with more common champion bot modes. So don't worry about that. The last is Shapeshift, which is what makes shapeshifting possible. Now, I like to justify this as Bayverse style bots, where they can scan other alt modes and adopt those looks. Bumblebee didn't stop being a car, he just became a better Camaro. The Drone Origin also very graciously gives us our pick of essence and skills, and I'm going a little crazy in putting the essence in Strength and the skill into Athletics. Athletics is a skill used to throw grenades, which will be important, and as we level up, Strength is by far the slowest skill, so I want to have a decent Energon score, so I'm putting a little bit extra into that at the start. Role. The best role for a spy I can think of, for Transformers anyway, is the Scout role. It is versatile and it really leans into it. Heck, I made a ninja from it before, so a spy's not all that far off. This role gives us the Cybertronian perk Disappear, and what spy wouldn't love to become invisible? How many spy movies does the spy just disappear when a bus or a train or something passes right in front of the camera? Classic. The next is Ally Awareness. This is a rock-solid choice and is very good to keep in mind who your real friends are, despite being a deep cover infiltrator. The next is Forward Observation. It is one that is very handy, but I'm sure will make my video editor mad at me because it allows cross-purchases of the Alertness skill, which is great, but hard for the bookkeeping. And last, but certainly not least, is Keen Sensors, which is excellent. For Phantom, I felt it was best to give him visual sensors, because as a spy, you want clean optics and to notice everything. Scout also provides a +1 to speed essence, which I use to get a level of infiltration. As you can imagine, that's a very important skill. Scout also gives us a +1 to social essence, and that's going into the deception skill. As you can imagine, that is also a very important skill. Focus. For the focus of a super spy, I had a few options out there, but in the end I settled on Demolitionist from Decepticon Directive. This makes him a wonderful king of sabotage and traps. This perk focus gives us Explosive Expert, and it is great. For those who have been here for a while, you know I do love me some explosives. The Demolitionist focus gives us a bonus to Speed Essence, which is glorious. For this time, I'm spreading things out and putting it into Finesse. Faction. As a gentleman spy, Phantom is a loyal Autobot, so he gets the faction perk for the Allspark, despite how he tends to spend a lot of time with a Decepticon badge on him. Gear. Gear for Phantom has been a challenge, as the training for Scout is just silent weapons, and there's not a huge variety of those. However, we do have options. For his 2 internal hardpoints, I went with 2 grenades. Now keep in mind, if he's infiltrating the Decepticons, he could also use the high explosive grenades because of multifaceted. The reasons I chose these as internal is so that I can use them in alt mode, so they can either be launched or even dropped like a road mine. For the external, I decided to go with a thrown blade for a small throwing knife, and of course, the iconic blaster. Make sure to use a requisition roll to get the absolute silencer on that. Essence Step. So as a spy, Phantom will be getting bonuses to his smarts and social rolls while infiltrating, and both of those will go level up quickly. So we want to spend the points here around smartly, so we can have a decent Energon score, and with the bonuses we get, we don't want to suffer anything by having a lack of skill. So keep that in mind, and why I'm spreading things out the way they are. And what I'm going to do is stick to the suggested spread of 4-3-3-2. The +4 is going into the Smarts Essence because there are so many good skills there we want to cover. So I'm putting a +1 to Culture, +1 to Science, +1 to Survival, and +1 to Technology. This covers so many bases, and we'll get a chance to get alertness in a minute. The first +3 is going into Speed Essence. There's a bunch of skills here that we really want to work on, so we should start now. A +1 to Targeting, a +1 to Initiative, and another +1 to Infiltration, as all of these skills fit this bot's spy lifestyle, and we need a good infiltration skill. The second +3 is for the Strength Essence. As I said earlier, this essence is the slowest gained, so we want to give ourselves a leg up on it. For these, I went with a +1 to Athletics, +1 to Conditioning, and +1 to Intimidation. Again, spreading the points around to avoid any penalties. Sadly, this leaves the +2 for Social, and while this bot's social skills are very important, we're going to have to, at least for a while, lean into the bonuses gained from other sources to carry us until we are a bit higher level. For now, I'm putting +1 into Persuasion, and then using Forward Observation to get a point into Alertness. This should give Phantom a real good spread of skills, so as not to take as many penalties as one could. Keep in mind the bonuses you get from Infiltrator, Double Agent, and Demolitions Expert at this time. Hey, you've made it this far into the video. Thank you for that. Seems like you're liking the video, so please show that you do by hitting the thumbs up button down below. Maybe leave a comment, tell me what you're enjoying. Now with the first level already sorted out, let's get into the other levels. This time we're going all the way to level 11 to get the complete build. Level 2. This level is a good one. The perk, Mark Target, may as well be called Mission Objective for how well it works. This perk works especially well with the bonuses from Infiltrator and Double Agent, so pick your targets wisely to really enjoy some nice benefits. This level also gives a +1 to Speed Essence, and for this level I'm adding a rank to the Driving skill. Stunt driving is a thing that spies can do, and he hasn't had any ranks in it yet. Level 3. Level 3 gives us the focus perk, Always on the Move. Now, while this is one of those simple and straightforward perks, the stipulations on it, while slightly restrictive, assures that it is used for cool and dramatic reasons. You gotta keep moving. Level 3 also gives us a Smart Essence increase, which I put into Alertness. I don't want him to miss clues. Level 4. This level is one I have been looking forward to. This time we get our choice of a general perk, and there is a bunch I want. This time I'm going to be taking Trustworthy from Power Rangers Beneath the Helmet. This is an awesome perk, which not only leans into the whole spy business, but should the dice fail, it will allow you to leverage into some good favor. Now, it also mentions specifically a specialization for deception in bluffing. So, good news that this level gives us a social essence increase, which I'm going to put into Deception, specializing in bluffing. I do so love it when things work out like this. Level 5. This level's perk, Hidden in Plain Sight, is very useful. It allows you to do as the name implies and hide in plain sight. As a sneaky infiltrator and a saboteur, this is a fantastic perk to get you into and out of the situations you want to get into and out of. This level comes with a bonus to the Speed Essence, which is lovely. Now, depending on what you're using, feel free to take a different skill for this, but for this time, I'm putting it into targeting. Want to use that iconic blaster well, don't we? Level 6. Level 6 is another level that rewards us with a focus perk. The Set Trigger perk is what really makes Phantom a saboteur. It can be very fun and devilishly sneaky. Contingency actions are an opportunity to set things up like they do in heist movies, and that's excellent. For level 6, we also get a +1 to Strength Essence, a rare and lovely treat. This time I'm adding another point into conditioning, but if you want to put it somewhere else, go right ahead. Level 7. Level 7 is a fun one. Now, mechanically, there's not a lot to it. However, this perk, Hindsight, is narratively pure, solid platinum. This perk is great for getting plot hooks, hints, and other help. It is fun in a box with a little bow on top. Level 7 also gives us +1 to Smarts Essence, which is very nice, and that's going to be put into the Culture skill, helping round things out. Level 8. Oh man, this is going to be fun. This level gives us a choice of general perk, and for this level I picked Faction Infiltrator from Techno-Organic Secrets. This is the perk I mentioned way back at the beginning that has a prerequisite of Double Agent, and this really puts a cherry on top of that perk and Infiltrator. Now, there is a line about alternate forms. Speak to your GM to see if your ability to have many forms, because of the changeling nature, would qualify you for this bonus. I'd say yes, but I'm not your GM, so make sure to speak to them. This level also comes with a much needed social essence increase. This level skill point I'm putting into Performance, so we can cover that gap in skills. Level 9. Level 9 is amazing, especially if you're a super spy like Phantom. Now, while Changeling doesn't let you copy any one specific person, without a specific perk, this level's perk, Mimicry Vocoder, lets you copy the specific person's voice. But when used creatively, like with Hide in Plain Sight, it can be very effective nonetheless. This level we get a +1 to Speed Essence, and I'm going to add that +1 to the Finesse skill. But do please put it where you think it would do the most good for your campaign. Level 10. So, let me get this straight. With On My Mark, we combine the versatility of contingency actions and the bonuses of marking our target, and we get a little more extra bonus? Yes please. This level is a very nice blending of role and focus features, and I love that. This level also gives us +1 to Speed Essence, which grants a skill point, and I think I'm going to put that into Acrobatics, again, covering all of our gaps. Level 11. The perk we get for this level is one chosen as a general perk, but it's one that I could see being able to be taken at any point in this build. The perk is Identity Crisis from My Little Pony's Dark Skies over Equestria. This skill rewards you for successfully infiltrating and specifically mentions shape changing. With the other bonuses gained, the dice rolls are insane in the best way possible. This time we get a +1 to Smarts Essence, and as inspiration for Phantom is James Bond, I decided to give him +1 to Technology, because, you know, gadgets. And at this point, for what I wanted to do for Phantom, I'm done. This guy is a fantastic character that really thrives behind enemy lines. He can pretend to be a Decepticon, or with a little effort, could seemingly join any other faction. He is ideal for a game or campaign focused on robots in disguise. A low combat, high intrigue setting would be great, but he's not going to be bad in combat. He's just a little bit better of a bomb setter and backstabber than a frontline combatant. Alternatives. The obvious change of factions from Autobot to Decepticon is one that's there, but one alternative is to lean more into the shapeshifter aspect. Instead of double agent and faction influence, which are more targeted, you could take a few more changeling focused perks from Dark Skies over Equestria. The two I would recommend is Phase Shift and Master Morph. Phase Shift would allow Phantom to take on the faces of specific bots, and Master Morph lets you take on their traits and abilities, so that infiltration thing is locked in. Or, if you want a little less focus on the individual, then there is Size Shift and Object Shift, and now he can become rocks and trees and other things. The stealth options along with those that come from Scout are phenomenal. Well, with all of that being said, here's where I'm going to say a special thank you to my friend Zero. Zero has commented on nearly all of the videos on this series, and I tapped him specifically to help me out with this one. Before I went and purchased more books from Renegade Games, I asked him which ones I should pick up, and now I'm a proud owner of Finister's book, so thank you, Zero. Also, thank you all for joining me. Please remember to like, comment, and of course subscribe. It's a little click for you, but a really big deal for me, and I greatly appreciate everyone who does. And if you have enjoyed this video, check out the links down below for links to the artist, my editor, my merch market, and of course my Patreon campaign where you can get a variety of rewards including early access to all my videos. Thank you all for joining me, and I shall see you all on the next one. And I'd like to give a special shout out to all my patrons who help make these videos possible. Aaron Smith, Brian Pelfrey, Chris Armstrong, Dennis Detman, Harry Thompson, and Mark Milius. Thank you all so much for your contributions. I wouldn't have this channel without you. Thank you very much.